Good morning. North Korean and Japanese Red Cross officials are to meet today in China for informal talks, which may lead to the resumption of bilateral negotiations suspended since 2012. On the brink of disaster, Ukraine's military reserves are called up in readiness to fight as its interim prime minister says that Russia has declared war. What is the future of the so-called currency of the future after several $100 million of bitcoins are compromised? And a scene from outer space. Get a look at the latest images of Korea's Antarctic research facility from the Arirang 3 satellite. And my bucket list for Korea. On our new segment, meet a woman from Bulgaria who fulfills her wish to experience traditional Korean medicine and hongeo on Monday, March 3rd, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And good morning. Welcome to Korea Today on a Monday morning. You're watching our brand new season of Korea Today. How exciting.
Good morning. Brand new season, brand new desk, and brand new faces as well.
That's right. Some old faces as well, some familiar faces. But we are delighted to have our co-host, Jin Ju, joining us here on the desk. Good morning. Please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you, Min Jang. Hello, my name is Jin Ju. I've been out at the presidential office of Cheonghae for the past 2 years, and I'm really glad to be back here in the studio and to join Young and Min Jang here. I'll be bringing you up-to-date news and in-depth analyses of the stories that are making headlines here in Korea and around the world from now on.
A big welcome.
A big welcome
Thank
to
you.
Jin Ju. We're going to have lots of fun. In our top story, working-level Red Cross officials from North Korea and Japan are expected to meet in China on this Monday to discuss the possibility of retrieving the remains of Japanese nationals buried in North Korea. This meeting, which will also be attended by foreign ministry officials from the two sides, is the first of its kind in a year and a half and comes at the request of Pyongyang.
The Japanese government plans to deal with the matter so as to solicit a proactive attitude from North Korea on outstanding bilateral issues, including the abduction of Japanese nationals.
Possible visits by Japanese families to the graves of their family members who died in North Korea decades ago will be high on the agenda. This rare meeting comes amid heightened tensions in the region following North Korea's firing of ballistic missiles last week.
Main opposition Democratic Party leader Kim Han-gil and An Chol-soo of the New Political Vision Party made a surprise announcement on Sunday saying that they will unite to form a new political party. Considering An Chol-soo declared just a matter of weeks ago that he would launch his own new political party, the announcement of this coalition came as a big surprise. An says he felt reassured about the merger plan when the DP decided to give up a controversial nomination system. Both agreed to form the new party before the June local elections, but insiders are expecting some friction during the merger. The ruling Saenuri Party denounced the merger, calling it collusion that is purely aimed at short-term political gain at the June elections.
And just when is it going to end? More avian influenza cases have been confirmed, this time in the eastern part of Jeollanam-do province. Since the confirmation of the H5N8 strain of bird flu at a duck farm in Suncheon City on Sunday, some 70,000 chickens and ducks within the 500-meter radius have been culled. This is the first time the bird flu virus has been found in the eastern part of Jeollanam-do province since its very first detection in late January. Quarantine officials are suspecting horizontal transmission whereby humans and cars are the vehicles in which the virus spreads, making it harder to contain the spread of avian influenza. So far, some 754,000 birds have been slaughtered at 41 farms.
Now, marking the 95th anniversary of the March 1st Independence Movement Day, which fell on Saturday, the weekend was packed with events urging Japan to withdraw its territorial claims over the Korea-controlled Dokdo Island and acknowledge its past wrongdoings. In line with such efforts, Korea is also pushing to establish additional comfort women statues throughout the nation. For more on that, we now connect live to our Kim Chan-ju, who is standing by in front of the Japanese embassy in Seoul. So, Chan-ju, could you give us some more more details about the efforts that is being made to set up additional comfort women statues here in Korea.
Good morning, Jinju. I'm reporting live from the Japanese embassy in Jongno-gu, Seoul. I'm standing in front of the Comfort Women statue here, which is wearing a lovely hanbok designed by hanbok designer Cho Sung-soon and donated by Merchant Association of Gwangjang Market recently. As for your question, Comfort Women statues will be added onto several locations in the country, including Suwon and Seongnam in Gyeonggi-do province, as well as the port city of Busan, all thanks to the efforts made by a committee in charge of building Comfort Women statue and civic groups. While Japan continues its attempt to distort history, there are other movements like the one I mentioned that try to hold on to the truth. Korea has been making diverse efforts to protect its sovereignty of the easternmost Dokdo Island. Along with Dokdo Day, established in 2010, other enthusiasts have also put the island as their resident registration. However, the Shimane Prefecture Assembly declared Dokdo as Takeshima on February 22nd since 2005, or Takeshima Day, and has been asserting its claim every year. Dokdo Island Guardian Nationwide Alliance denounces Takeshima Day and visits Japan every year on February 22nd to stage rallies.
A recent visit to Japan was to deter Abe administration's outspoken behavior and possible revival of militarism. Hundreds of Japan's right-wing activists attacked our small group by crossing the police line and threatening our lives. I was terrified.
Recently, Japan's foreign ministry unveiled a video clip in response to Korea's effort to use EC in U.S. textbooks, and tensions between the two countries are rising.
We plan to build an alliance with Southeast Asian countries who are victims of Japan's imperialism to manage and protect our history. I'm sure Japan will be afraid.
Japan denies provoking Dokdo Island sovereignty and forced sexual slavery. The Comfort Women statue was built to honor former sex slaves, while international exhibits were held to depict Japan's past brutality. Arirang TV has been airing an animation, A Girl's Tale, directed by Kim Jung-gi since March 1st. The 10-minute animation helped to spread awareness of Japan's forced sexual slavery to the U.S. and to the rest of the world. The animation piece was supported by the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family. The ministry says it will take active measures against Japan's historical distortion.
In regards to the formal sex slave issue, we are gathering various data to work towards systemization. This is a human rights issue, so in order to spread awareness in the future, we will use a website to interact with others.
Korea's foreign ministry also produced and released a promotion video clip of Dokdo Island in English and Japanese versions. Korea will continue its efforts to adjust history until Japan finally stops its distortion. Marking the Korea's Independence Movement Day, President Park Geun-hye said in a speech that Japan must face up to its past and have the courage to teach its young people correct history. A Girl's Tale, a story of former sex slaves and Dokdo Island promotion video can be seen through logging onto portal websites and YouTube. Back to you, Jinju.
Okay, Chanju, thank you for that report. That was our Kim Chanju reporting live from the Japanese embassy in Seoul. Now, a recent survey shows that souring Korea-Japan relations are creating a rather negative perception of Japan and the Shinzo Abe administration among people in Korea. And to tell us more about this research, we're now joined by Dr. Kim Ji-yoon at the ASEAN Institute for Policy Studies. Welcome to the program.
Well, glad to be here.
Let's go straight to this question. What do Koreans think about Japan's distortion of history and its false claims over Dokdo Island?
Well, quite negatively, of course. I think the most informative indicator of this, the favorability rating of Japan by Korean people. We've been asking this question since 2010, and throughout the 2013, the last year, the favorability score of Japan, which is a scale on the scale of 0 to 10, is decreasing steadily. For example, in last February, it was 2.17, and which is much lower than that of North Korea, which is 2.56. However, according to our recent survey, still about 55% of Koreans think that we need to have a summit between these two countries. And 63% of Koreans said, well, President Park Geun-hye should be more proactive to improve the relationship between Korea and Japan. The survey was conducted between February 23rd and February 25th, so which is right after the Takeshima Day. So despite all the hassles about the Takeshima Day, the people still want the good relationship with Japan. So we don't like Japan, but there's no need to ruin the whole diplomatic relations.
It's really surprising that Abe received a low score, similar as Kim Jong-un. But despite this horrible score, as you said, more than 50% of Koreans think that a bilateral summit between President Park and Prime Minister Abe should come in the near future. Why is this?
Well, there are several reasons. So Park Geun-hye government is saying that we refuse the summit unless all those preconditions are met. Like, Japan should acknowledge what they did in the past and also give a sincere apology. But from the public, about 51% of them said, well, you have to meet to resolve those issues. And secondly, there's some concern about the economic loss. About 20% answer so. And there you have to see the issue from the geopolitical perspective. For example, it is true that Korean people are very uncomfortable with Japan's expansion of military power, but they understand we have to cooperate with U.S., which is trying to build up the trilateral cooperation between the U.S., Korea, and Japan, and also we have to check the China. So many Koreans do not really particularly like Japan, but kind of agree that it is inevitable to go with them and build a strategic relations.
And looking into the research, it was very interesting to see that, in my personal view, many Koreans think Japan as a strategic partner when it comes to security cooperation, especially to keep China in check.
Well, that kind of tendency has been noticed recently. And this time, about 61% of Koreans answered that we have to cooperate with Japan in the rise of China. That's true that Korean public's attitude toward China has improved dramatically. There's a really successful summit between President Park and also President Xi Jinping. And, China and Korea, we share the historic scar done by Japan. And then, when Japan make quite a provocative comments and behavior, and China and Korea, upset together and kind of creates comradeship, I would say. But we don't really know about this country that much. And, this is a country whose ally is North Korea. And we still remember what happened in 2010. And there's a shelling of Yeonpyeong Island and also the sinking of Cheonam. And we remember how China behaved. So the attitude toward China by Korean people is really ambivalent.
And as you mentioned before, President Park is very firm when it comes to Japan. She wants Japan to apologize first for its wartime atrocities before any summit talks can be held between the two leaders. But Japan lately seems to be taking an increasingly rightist move. So what are some of the steps the Korean government should take to resolve this diplomatic tension that is ongoing in this region?
Well, first thing I noticed about from this survey is that a lot of Korean people think government should do something. There's a continuous change of Japan's provocation, and then the Korean government reacts quite dramatically, and it kind of creates or gives the fatigue to the people. So, for example, percentage of support for summit this time is actually increased number. The last time we checked in December. Well, this is my personal opinion, but I don't really think that the issue between Korea and Japan can be completely resolved. So we have to manage it, and Prime Minister Abe is quite popular in Japan for Abenomics, and it seems to working right now for Japan for a while. And he himself has idea of a rightist mind and also kind of strong Japan to create. So I don't really think it is controlled by the Korean government. So that kind of nails down to the role of the United States. As very well known, the United States is launching the rebalancing strategy in the Northeast Asia, and then for the success of that, the cooperation between Korea and Japan is indispensable. So let U.S. understand, importance of the issue between Korea and Japan, and keep the situation and Japan under control.
All right, Dr. Kim, I'm afraid we'll have to leave it there. Thank you for your insight today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Good Monday morning. Let's run through the front pages of your newspapers now. And we'll have a variety of stories ahead of you this morning, and we'll be having weather updates later on in the show as well. But let us check out this image here on 동아일보 first, showing the clear Seoul skies. Now, the picture title reads, Seoul recovers blue skies. And finally, the skies of Seoul have its clean and clear blue color back, which had been hazed up by the recent bouts of fine dust. Now, father and daughter are enjoying the warm day out, with the temperature going up to 10 degrees Celsius yesterday. And it looks like today's highs will go up to 11 degrees here in Seoul, so another great day ahead of us. And now let's move to a major story that's on the front pages of many of our papers this morning. Let's check this story out on 동아일보 again. The title reads, 안철수 merged with DP 40 days after declaring new political party. And you may have heard from our headlines earlier on in the show, but leaders of main opposition blocs announced Sunday they will create a new united coalition party ahead of local elections. And this is certainly a move that is shaking up the country's political structure. Kim Han-gil, the head of the main opposition Democratic Party, and 안철수, a businessman turned politician new to the political scene, said they will seek a union and aim for a transfer of power at the next presidential election. Now, the article goes on to say that the move was announced just months ahead of the June 4th local elections to pick a new Seoul mayor, governors, and council members of regional governments. And now let's move to another article on the same topic here on Gyeongyang Shinmun. The headline reads, Lies versus Promises, Bipartisan Structure for Local Elections. Now here in the image, Kim Han-gil and Anchersu are firmly shaking hands. The subheadline says that the two, with their new party, will abolish the controversial top-down nomination system that resides within Korean politics. An and Kim also condemned the ruling party for flip-flopping their presidential campaign pledges and their heavy-handed policies, saying they decided to form a new party to punish the politics of lies and realize the politics of promise. And of course, we have similar stories also on 중앙일보 and 조선일보, but we'll leave that for now and go on to Mail Business newspaper here. And the headline here reads, on Mail Business newspaper, the headline reads, Russian ruble slides on Ukraine crisis. Here on the side, the subheadlines say that the fall of prices of raw materials on top of the $50 billion worth of the Sochi Olympic bill, the economic situation is pretty much at the financial crisis level. And meanwhile, here in the picture, you see a Russian soldier. The caption says that 15,000 soldiers of the Russian military have been deployed at the Crimean Peninsula. And finally, let's look at our Korea Economic Daily here. The headline here reads, Future of LG is energy, eco, health, and auto. So those four components are the core business goals to brighten up LG's future. And the subheadline says that the main business strategy of LG Electronics will shift from business to consumer, or B2C oriented, to business or B2B oriented. And that was a look at your newspaper headlines for Monday. And coming up are the stock numbers from Friday.
Though beautiful weather yesterday, we didn't get to enjoy it because we were busy preparing for this show. But I wonder what the weather will look like
Exactly.
today.
Although we were indoors preparing, but preparation well done, as
That's
well
right.
as a weekend well spent, right? The weekend, actually, weather looked great, and this week we were expecting a bit of godsamchui, or the last-minute cold that comes in jealousy of the flowers, but apparently it's not going to be that cold, so we'll take a look at the weather conditions.
All right, that was a look at the weather conditions. Now, some of our viewers might have been wondering where Eunice Kim went, our former in-print fireball. She hasn't disappeared. She is joining us from Arirang TV's international desk. Good morning to you, Eunice.
And good morning to you, Minjung. Yes, starting today, I'll be keeping my eyes on the headlines feeding in from the global stage for us for Korea Today.
That's right, and great news. But the top story must be Ukraine this morning.
Sure thing. Let's go ahead and get started. Ukrainian interim Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk has called on Russian President Vladimir Putin to pull his military back and stick to international obligations, saying that the two sides are on a brink of disaster. This as Russian forces are reported to have mobilized into the autonomous region of Crimea, though Russia has yet to confirm this. And as the Russian parliament has given the green light to use military force to protect its citizens in Ukraine. Meanwhile, world leaders have joined their voices calling for Russia to scale back and not intervene in Ukrainian affairs. Notably, U.S. President Barack Obama was on the phone for 90 minutes with Putin over the weekend, though the two are said to have not yet seen eye to eye.
So a lot of mess there, and the focus has shifted from the capital city of Kiev to Crimea. Now explain to us and to some of our viewers who might be unfamiliar with this situation how Crimea is different.
Right. The Crimea is important not only for its rich farmland, but also in that about half of its population is ethnic Russian. Now, Moscow has had an interest in the Crimea for hundreds of years, despite having given the peninsula to Ukraine back when both countries were part of the Soviet Union. It's also Russia's only access point to the Black Sea, where part of the Russian Navy is based.
So it is a strategic area for Russia. We'll keep an eye on further developments. Let's now shift to China. Now, over the weekend, a surprise attack at a train station in Kunming killed dozens of people and wounded hundreds of others. Now, what more do you know?
Right. China is left in shock this morning after a group of attackers on Saturday wielded knives, apparently at random strangers, leaving at least 29 people dead and 130 wounded. Now, makeshift vigils at the southwestern city of Kunming mark the spot where the attacks took place, and Chinese authorities are pointing to a separatist group in the northwestern region of Xinjiang for what they are characterizing as coordinated terrorist attacks. And China's Xinhua news agency reports police shot at least 4 suspects dead and captured 1. 5 others are reported to be still on the run.
Heartbreaking news indeed. Let's finally shift gears now and head to Los Angeles, California, where they're gearing up for Hollywood's biggest night despite the heavy rain.
Right. We're, of course, talking about the 86 Academy Awards. The show will be a good distraction away from the crazy weather Californians have had to deal with. The torrential rain, of course, that followed a stretch of record drought. Now, workers were up before dawn putting the finishing touches on the venue, including the famous red carpet outside Dolby Theater, where the star-studded event will take place. Favorites for Best Picture include 12 Years a Slave, Gravity, and American Hustle. Comedian Ellen DeGeneres will host the awards for a second time this year as actors, actresses, producers, writers, and the world watches who will go home with showbiz's highest honor, the Oscar.
Definitely an exciting night, and a lot of fans will be watching from Korea too, and myself included. What time will it air in Korea?
Well, the show will get on the road at 10:30 a.m. Korea time.
Okay, so a couple of hours away from our show. So thank you, Eunice, for that.
You bet.
And still ahead on Korea Today, a bird's eye view of Jang Bogo Station, robot vacuum, and a baby that can melt any woman's heart. Our new reporter, Jung Soo-mi, will bring us a closer look behind some of Korea's most searched topics over the week, coming up on Hot Clicks. Don't go away.
And with the new season of Korea Today, Yoon Myun-hee joins us with our now daily arts and culture segment. Good morning.
Good morning. It's wonderful to be here.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us and welcome. Now, you actually had a chance to visit a photo exhibit that's going on right next to the Cheonggyecheon stream, and that was over the actual Independence Movement holiday weekend.
Yes, so as we mentioned earlier, the Independence Movement Day was this past weekend on March 1st, and they opened a photo exhibition there at the Cheonggyecheon stream. A lot of events took place in that area in the Junggu and Jongno-gu areas, and this particular exhibition has photos from Korea over 100 years ago during the Japanese invasion and colonialism. Now, I must say some of these photos are a bit graphic, but they do speak the truth, and they are part of our history. And so with that said, let's take a look in this next report.
This quaint little stream is a favorite for many for a casual stroll. But underneath this bridge is a glimpse into history through pictures. In a single flash, a moment can be captured and preserved for years to come. While not all memories are the kind you want to remember, the past is what defines the present. And for these visitors, the pictures serve as a somber reminder of Japan's invasion that took place almost 100 years ago.
This exhibition has around 100 different photographs and is open for the next 2 weeks. We've chosen this spot under the Hongeo Bridge so people who are out and about can casually visit. We want as many people as possible to see it so they can learn about a part of history some don't know about.
To this day, many of the lives lost still remain unknown. The pictures bring light to the brutality and injustice of the time. And although nothing can justify their deaths, a small memorial was held at the exhibition in honor of the anonymous lives prematurely taken during the invasion. Each photograph on display was collected and donated by Chung Sung-gil. This is the first time they're being exhibited to the public, revealing the shocking truth of the events. The pictures show rows and rows of dead bodies, unrecognizable piles of entangled corpses, the results of what Imperial Japan called scientific investigations. But it's clear what really happened, and that's the massacre of thousands of innocent lives.
If you look closely, you can see these are bodies of women laid down facing the sky with their legs spread. While they are alive, they were raped and violated by the soldiers, even with the soldiers' weapons. This is something the Korean people need to see because of the injustice done to our people. The Japanese deny what really happened, but all you have to do is look at these pictures to see the truth.
100 years ago, Korea was a whole different place. And 100 years from now, traces of the Japanese invasion may be even less. But these pictures will remain an important reminder of Korea's past, no longer erasable from history, available for the world to see.
Now, that last image of the Japanese soldier holding the beheaded head, just like a trophy, and with that chilling smile. I mean, it's a testament to the horrific events that occurred in those times. Now, how did he put together a collection like these?
Now, it's really interesting, Mr. Chung Sung-gil, the curator, he's also the collector and owner of these photos. He is just your average guy with an everyday job, but he came across these photos And he kind of sparked a passion, and so he started collecting these, and he wanted to share with other people. Now, the pictures, you saw the picture he showed in the interview that he explained, he says he feels is the most important because they say his picture speaks 1,000 words, and truly that picture captures it. You cannot deny what went on during that time.
Yes, of course, for those people who do want to see it, it is parental discretion advised. But what are the plans for these photographs after the 2 weeks?
Now, this exhibition will be open for the next 2 weeks, exactly like you said, but they plan on taking it throughout the rest of Korea, but they are making especially big plans for the Korean War Memorial Day coming this summer, or Hongeo as we call it, and so we'll keep an eye on that for you guys, and we'll bring it back.
All right, well, sounds good. For 2 weeks, you can check out the powerful and chilling images. Thank you very much, Uni, for this.
My pleasure.
And we're going to shift gears. Still ahead on Korea Today, a woman from Belarus by the name of Leah. She is going to be featured on our segment Ins and Outs, and she experiences Korean medicine and hongeo for the first time. 6 years in Korea and doing what she wasn't able to do with a little help from Korea Today. But up next is News Sum Up.
Right, we have a news segment called News Sum Up, where we look at some of the key words that are gripping Korea's society, and a multi-millionaire running for office.
Yes, that's a 7-time lawmaker Jang Bogo of the ruling Saenuri Party, who announced his candidacy for Seoul mayor on Sunday. But for more on this and other search words, we now go over to our Lina at the Arirang digital room. Hello, Lina.
Hello, Lina. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Minjung, and good morning, Jinju. And yes, you've named it correctly. This is our very own digital room. Quite fancy, right? What we intend to do here is quite simple, and you guys have summarized it quite well. We're going to look at some of the hot words that come up in the last 24 hours, and of course, delve a little bit deeper, trying to explain some of the relevant news in Korea real time. Speaking of real time, early this morning, a lot of entertainment news were coming up, and this is because over the weekend, a lot of variety show programs and reality show programs are aired on TV, and so early into the morning, a lot of entertainment news come up on the search engine. Now let's rewind just a little bit back and go back to 2 p.m. yesterday. Of course, the new United Coalition Party. This is an issue that has been coming up and pretty much will come up as time goes on. Right behind, we have TV program Surprise revealing the late Heath Ledger's diary. But what we're going to pay attention to today is the one and only Girls' Generation. Yes, the girls are back. After nearly 14 months of absence in the K-pop scene, the fans were ready for a big comeback. And it seems like right on cue, the girls are back strong. Girls' Generation unveiled their music video for Mr. Mister on the 28th, and it has been receiving praise from the international audience. Pop Dust said Mr. Mister music video is proof that there's history's most attractive girl group. Meanwhile, Billboard has stated that the video is sophisticated and alluring enough to attract an even bigger fan base. Now let's take a look at our next time frame. Of course, Frozen is still the ongoing issue internationally with the Oscars coming up, but also in Korea, it hit an all-time high for an animation, creating a new record here in Korea. Apparently, 10 million moviegoers have watched Frozen in Korea as of Saturday, and the numbers keep increasing. We apparently can't let it go just yet. Number 2 story, we're going to direct our attention to Jang Bogo running for Seoul mayor. Second on the list, this is quite a relevant story. June 4th is the date to mark for all of us here in Korea. In just a couple of months, local elections to pick the new Seoul mayor, governors, and council members of regional governments will take place. Here's perhaps why the name Jang Bogo might sound familiar. With his political career spanning 7 consecutive terms in the National Assembly, as of course a lawmaker for the ruling Saenuri Party, he's one of the most anticipated candidates. Born in Busan, South Korea, he is also the controlling shareholder in Hyundai Heavy Industries Group, one of the largest corporations in the world. He is the sixth son of Hyundai conglomerate founder Jung Ju-young. He is also the honorary vice president of FIFA and the former president of the Korea Football Association. Topping the charts into the evening, I mentioned earlier, reality programs are quite hot over the weekend. And as you go into the evening hours, search words will revolve around these TV programs, especially the ones that capture the heart are "The Superman is Back." Hado apparently wants to go to New York City to follow in her father's footsteps to pursue music, especially hip-hop. This was apparently topping the charts. But we're going to pay attention to now is Bitcoin facing trouble yet again. It seems like Bitcoin might just not be doing so strong. It's taking center stage with an Illinois man filing a class action lawsuit against Mt. Gox, one of the world's largest Bitcoin exchange. What's the damage, you ask? A loss in approximated 750,000 Bitcoins, which is about 6% of all Bitcoins in circulation. This is worth more than $400 million US. Just hours after the lawsuit was filed, the company located in Tokyo filed for bankruptcy protection. During the hearing, it was revealed that in addition to the 750,000 Bitcoins that were quote-unquote lost, the company also managed to lose 100,000 of its own Bitcoins. Now the only question is this: was it only a matter of time before a Bitcoin started causing troubles? I'll keep you updated on News Sum Up tomorrow as well.
And a good Monday morning to you all as we kick things off in the LPGA as Park In-bi looked to bounce back in the final round of the HSBC Women's Championship on Sunday. The world number one Park In-bi starting off the final round tied for 10th overall. She storms back in the final round shooting a 4-under on the day to finish tied for 4th overall at 7 under par. But the biggest climb up was fellow Korean Yoo So-yeon, who started off tied for 17th before shooting a 6-under on the day to finish tied for 4th with Park In-bi. Meanwhile, Paula Creamer would beat Azahara Munoz in the second playoff hole with a 75-footer to claim the title at 10 under par. And now moving over to football, where the Taeguk Warriors are set to face off against Greece later in the week as manager Hong Myung-won looks to finalize his roster before the World Cup in Brazil. Now with the 61st ranked Korea taking on the 12th ranked Greece, it might be the last shot that Park Ju-young has in order to make the World Cup team in June. While many believe that he's not in top form to be included in the roster, he might be the kind of offense the team currently needs, as manager Hong will try to utilize both Park Ju-young and Kim Shin-wook in this match. And shifting over to rhythmic gymnastics, where Son Yeon-jae finished off the Moscow Grand Prix with 3 bronze medals. While it might not be a gold medal finish, Son Yeon-jae still finished off with 3 medals for the first time in international competition, as she scored 17.516 in hoop, 17.816 in clubs, and 17.766 in ribbon, claiming bronze in all 3 events. And despite the third-place finishes, the 20-year-old would finish off 6th in the overall scoring with 69.066 overall. And now moving over to Sunday's KBL action as the KT Sonic Boom beat the Samsung Thunder 61-52 in a low-scoring game with the Ulsan Mobis Phoebus cruising past Wonju Dongbu Promi 79-63. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the LG Sakers take on the SK Knights. Now going into the game here, first quarter of the game, LG off to a great start, take a 20-13 lead after the first quarter before heading into halftime with a comfortable 47-36 lead. In the second half of the game, SK trying to rally back in this game with Aaron Haynes putting up 28 points in the game, but with 4 LG players scoring in double digits, LG hangs on to take this game 87-80. And now finishing things off in the V-League, where the IBK Altos clinches first place after beating the Hunguk Insurance Life Pink Spiders 3-0. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the Hyundai Capital Skywalkers take on the Korean Air Jumbos. Now a must-win situation for both teams, but the Hyundai Capital Skywalkers take the first 2 sets, 25-20 and 25-15. with the Korean Jumbos forcing a fourth set with a 25-18 set win. Liberman Algamez kicks it up a notch, putting up 30 points on the day as the Skywalkers take this match 3-1. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Hello everyone, I'm Chung Sumi and you're watching Hot Clicks. I'll be taking you through all kinds of interesting online news and happenings, so let's find out what kind of hot weekly issues and topics the online community has clicked on. So today the first topic is spring, and thanks to the lovely spring weather, all sorts of interesting stories and pictures of blossoming season have been posted online. Out of them, let's take a look at one video in particular that has received many compliments from the online community. The frozen winter snow melts and becomes a flowing stream. Feason's eye pink peaks out of the snow while plum blossoms are the first to ring in the incoming spring season. And of course, the bright yellow petals of forsythias and canolas are spotted here and there as well. In the midst of all of Mother Nature's hustle and bustle, animals wake up from their long winter sleep. So did you enjoy this clip? I sure did, and it seems like the online users are ready for this beautiful spring season as well. Let's move on to our next topic. Many online users were impressed by a satellite image of Korea's Jang Bogo and Arctic Research Station was revealed to the public, taken by Arirang 3, our Earth observation satellite made purely with Korean technology. Isn't it amazing how clear and detailed this satellite photo is, despite it was taken from 685 kilometers above the ground? With Jang Bogo Research Station, Korea's second one on the South Pole following the Sejong Research Station, Korea has become the world's 10th country with 2 or more research centers down on this frigid continent. As Antarctica is marked with frigid temperatures of minus 35 degrees Celsius and sudden extreme wind speed of 59 miles per second, researchers had no alternative but stay inside the research station. We look forward to what kind of remarkable findings and research this newly built Jang Bogo Research Station will be able to do and provide. So next topic we have is recently an interesting video of a domestic electronic company's new robot vacuum cleaner undergoing various unique tests received a lot of attention from online users. Why don't we take a peek at some of these tests? On top of a steel plate hung 100 meters above ground by a large crane, the new robot vacuum cleaner is busy cleaning and shining while another company's automated vacuum cleaner falls off, such as cleaning high-rise building corners and insides of an off-road automobile. Besides this first test, the vacuum underwent bizarre and challenging tests such as dribbling a soccer ball on the corners of a high-rise building and cleaning a car roof while the automobile is driven on unpaved roads. But it looks like the first test done on top of the steel plate, some 100 meters above ground, received the most number of views. So now let's move on to our final clip. The next clip is about an experienced pickup artist who's only a baby. Find out how this baby boy steals the hearts of women. 2 babies are enjoying their delicious yogurt drink, but notice that boy says he tells the girl that she's cute, and although a bit random, his partner still blushes. With his witty and Casanovish compliment, the baby boy scores a kiss from the baby girl. How did this little one know exactly what to say to impress the girl? What's more entertaining are the added captions to clarify the baby talk in normal phrases. Those who have watched this clip express how adorable the babies are and that they too just might fall for the baby boy's smooth lines. All right, this is all we have for today's Hot Clicks. I'll be back with more interesting online news next week on Monday.
And this is our brand new season of Korea Today. We have new faces as well as new corners. Now it's about ins and outs.
Ins and outs of Korea seen through the eyes of foreigners living in Korea. To tell us more about this segment and this story, Cha Mina joins us. Good morning.
Good morning to all of you this morning and the new face as well. Yes. And yeah, we're starting a brand new segment today. We're talking about ins and outs of Korea, where we're going to be meeting with various expats who live in Seoul and in Korea who want to experience a variety of different things that they didn't get a chance to do. Now, 1.57 million foreigners currently reside in Korea, and that's about every 3 out of 100 people in the nation. So it goes to show that the population of the foreign people are rising in Korea, and they want to do a variety of different things. So with that said, we're going to be meeting one of these special guests today, and we'll be hearing her story. So let's take a look.
Hello everyone, my name is Leah and I'm from Belarus. I would like to try to go to Haniwon, Korean Traditional Hospital. And also I would like to go to fish market to try the fish I never tried being here in Korea, hongeo. So I would really appreciate if you can choose me so I could try the things I would like to do.
Leah signed up to experience an interesting day in Korea.
Hello? Oh, hi, come in.
Leah has lived in Korea for the past 6 years, yet there are still many things she hasn't experienced. One is visiting a traditional medicine market. There aren't any in her home country.
양녕 시장까지 가요? 어디요? 양녕이요. 양녕시장.
I'm surprised that the bus driver doesn't understand.
Must be a traffic noise or something.
Leah
He's
wasn't
not
able to
understanding.
visit a medicine market because she was too shy to go alone, and her Korean friends didn't seem too excited about this particular adventure.
She's still going alone, but with a camera crew, right?
Look, it's over there. 양녕시장. Oh, I found it.
Pronunciation is surprisingly
Yeah,
good.
it's very good.
This traditional medicine market traces its earliest roots back to the Joseon dynasty, and it boomed into a contemporary location in the late 1960s. Something at the market immediately caught Leah's attention.
Uh-oh.
Look at this one.
What is that?
Froggy.
Froggies.
Frog jerky, very good.
Leah learned that frogs are extremely nutritious. Next stop was at a Korean medical clinic. After checking her pulse and performing other various examinations, her diagnosis revealed that she had poor blood circulation around her abdominal region.
최대한 안 아프게 놔드릴게요.
And so she was brave enough to undergo acupuncture treatment. Acupuncture needles are known to be effective in improving blood circulation.
That's a slight exaggeration. I want to testify that it doesn't hurt that much.
No?
Korean traditional medicine will not be good for my body, but I came here, I talked to the doctor, I got treatment in a very nice way. I feel happy and healthy.
That's what she thought that maybe a Korean traditional medicine might not be good for her.
Here you're at Noryangjin Fisheries Wholesale Market.
홍어다.
She spotted it.
Same.
It's probably a level 5, I think, on the scale of tough foods to eat, right?
Yep, she's here
Definitely.
to find some skate.
Oh my God.
Recently, the Korea Herald published skate as the most hated Korean dish among foreigners, because of its smell, obviously.
Well, don't knock it till you try it, because 3 times the charm. I love it now.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, a lot of foreigners also do. First-timers are often hesitant to try this strong, distinctive smell and taste. But once they do, many come back for more.
Actually, it's not that bad. I thought it would be very, very smelly, but it's not. It tastes delicious.
What do you think she felt and learned through her unforgettable experience?
I have been living in Korea for a long time, but today I was able to try new things, and I'm very happy because I saw the new image of Korea, and I'm sure in future the new image of Korea will follow me, so I'm very excited and very happy today.
Kudos to her for trying a lot of things, and especially hongeo is one of those things that I have yet to try, and I don't want to try because I'm scared.
You have to try it, I'm telling you. First time, it wasn't all that good. Second time was a little better. Third time's the charm.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's an acquired taste then, right?
For sure.
Something that you don't like at first, but I would love to try it with you sometime. I haven't tried it myself.
All right, well, it seems that there's a lot of tourists these days. Last year, 12 million tourists visited Korea, and that's like a fourfold increase from 1991.
Yeah,
so this is a great increase.
Absolutely. We're seeing a huge amount of fluctuation, or not fluctuation, a huge rise in the number of foreign people. And in turn, the Korea Tourism Organization is definitely being more accommodating by inviting foreign visitors, tourists, to traditional markets. As you could see, a lot of interest is being piqued in that area. And just last year, 50,000 people visited the Gwangjang market in Seoul, which is a big traditional market, and that amounts to about 200 a day. So we're seeing a lot of interest being garnered to these traditional markets.
It was a bit surprising that she wanted to try hongeo, but not surprising at all that she wanted to visit a traditional market, because a lot of foreigners love to visit traditional markets.
Absolutely. And we're also seeing that the national government and local governments, they're trying to do as much as they can to attract a lot of visitors to traditional markets. Some examples include Jeonju's Nambu Market, Jeju Island even, their Dongmun Market, and Chuncheon's Nangman Market. So we're seeing it at a national level here, people trying to attract tourists and visitors to the traditional markets.
And moving on to the medical services that are being provided in Korea, especially Oriental medicine. What is the government, the central and local governments, doing to enhance the medical services for foreign tourists?
They're absolutely doing a lot, and you could definitely see that that's happening, because from the get-go, as soon as foreigners arrive at the airport, there are services available for those interested in medical tourism. Right from the get-go, when you land in the country, step foot in the country, at Incheon International Airport, they provide full free rides to and from hospitals. Also, consultations right at the airport are available, so you can gain more information about medical tourism, herbal medicines, and so forth. So we're definitely seeing a lot of encouragement by the government to bring people in for medical tourism, and for those who are just interested in acupuncture, different services regarding herbal medicine.
So it's not just about regular modern day medicine, but the Korean traditional medicine, all immersed into medical tourism.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we got to meet Leah on the first segment. For our viewers who want to take part in this segment, ins and outs, how could they do that?
Well, it's very easy, very simple. We are inviting any expat, any foreigner living in Korea for more than 6 months to sign up on our message board, on Korea Today message board. You can go to that message board by clicking and logging into www.arirang.co.kr. Click right on our message board and leave your story, and we would love to share it with our viewers.
Sounds great, Mina.
Right, so we'll meet another foreigner next week, I believe,
Absolutely,
with you,
yes.
Mina. All right, thank you, Mina, for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on this very first day of our new season.
That's right. It was exciting for us. Hopefully, it was fun for you, viewers, to watch at home. How was it, Jinju? Probably should ask you.
Oh, well, I'm still nervous. Even the show has come to an end, but it was a great day for me. First, I was nervous, but now I'm enjoying it, and I think I'll be more comfortable with it in the days ahead. So
we're here to help you. So let's all have fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, sounds great. Welcome aboard. Really a nice warm welcome. And with that tradition,
right, we have a tradition to ask you to close the show. Whoever comes on the show to close the show for us. So please do the honors.
So that brings us to the end of this edition of Korea Today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
That was perfect.
Perfecto, like you wrote it down and practiced it. I don't know how you came up with that. Great job, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you,
See
Mina.
you next week.